Okay, guys, I got a quick question for you. Do you think civility in politics is dead? Because really, it's like, with all the things that I have been seeing over the past, few weeks and months and years and basically my entire life, is that political decency has been thrown into the toilet, and it is not good at all. Okay, one of the things that I think society should be striving for in the age of indecency is to become more decent, and I just don't see that happening. It's like more and more people are just getting rid of basic human decency for their fellow man in order to either virtue signal or complain about certain things. And it's gotta stop. It's gotta fucking stop, okay? And it really is annoying for me as someone who's been following, political sphere. Not just in the political sphere either. It's also happening in forms of entertainment. Video games and shit like that, movies, especially with Star Wars. The indecency is just everywhere. Everyone is being pricks to each other, and there's no real cause for it. Like, there's no real reason. There's no just cause for why everybody's been acting like such huge dicks to each other. I'm gonna get into the situations I'm talking about in a second, but basically, my whole thing about it has just been, why can't we just strive to be more decent? Okay, if you're gonna see people on the other side as being dickbags, find a reason that they're actually being dickbags and then try to debate it with them. Don't just go out there and conflate them in there with racist, sexist, bigot, homophobes, or SJWs or something like that. Like, actually find a reason that the people you disagree with are not credible, and at least debate with you, or at least debate with the people you disagree with on how this whole situation could be, fared better. And the situations that I'm referring to are the entire situation with Maxine Waters and Sarah Huckabee Sanders, with all that stuff about with the people trying to, go after the president's staff and their personal life, which is, pretty bad. And the entire stuff with the Star Wars fandom in terms of, like, the controversies surrounding Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Now, I'm gonna start with Maxine Waters things first, because that's obviously the most important one that we need to talk about. Maxine Waters. Let me get my computer out so I can look it up. The exact quote that I had on here that she said about this whole situation. But basically, if you guys don't know, not Maxine Waters, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, which is the White House press secretary, who I think has been doing somewhat of a decent job since Sean Spicer left that role as White House press secretary, though I do think in some ways she's a little bit more annoying than him. But anyway, she was kicked out of this restaurant in Virginia called the Red Hen, and it was because the owners of the restaurant had moral ambiguity towards her and they just didn't want her there. Now, in terms of property rights, I am perfectly fine with someone doing that if they wanted to. If they wanted to kick somebody out they disagree with politically, they should be able to. And like I said, it's perfectly fine, all right? But this whole situation was cheered on by the left, and a lot of people actually wanted that to happen more often. Like, they wanted more and more people to just be taken out politically like that in public life, which is kind of sad to see that that's how the state of politics has really gone towards in the last few years. But anyway, she got kicked out. A bunch of people on the left cheered these people on. And then Maxine Waters was giving a speech at a children's thing or something like that, is what I remember. It was actually at, or something like that. But what do Democrats have against politicizing children? Am I right? At least the hardcore ones. So let me find the quote here on my computer. Should be up here somewhere. Okay. Now here's what she said at this little thing. Let's make sure we show up wherever we have to show up. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gas station, you get out and you create a crowd and you push back on them. And you tell them you're not welcome here anymore, anywhere. Now, I'm not going to go over the context of the situation that brought this on about the, moral ambiguity stuff, stuff about the border. I'm not going to talk about that shit. Alright? I don't like talking about the border. But basically what Maxine Waters just said here is that she's advocating for mob rule. That is essentially it. Alright? And I've seen videos of people, not people defending her, of her defending herself on that issue. And she does not do a good job. She basically said that she's basically doing this whole talking point of, yes, we have to be civil, but these dirty, dirty Republicans are so evil that we have to be incivil in response, even though that is absolutely asinine. Not only to me, but many others who are trying to be reasonable on these issues. It's just annoying as fuck to see people in political life, people who, make $100,000 a year, not $100,000 a year, but lots of money per year when you go with like campaign donations and shit like that, and get free insurance, shit like that. It's basically calling on the common people to do something that is absolutely stupid. They basically tell them that, hey, go harass these guys, because that's basically what she's calling for. She was calling for the harassment of people she disagreed with politically. Now that is not a call to violence, per se. Alright, as bad as that is, it's not a call to violence, so she has a right to say it. But as a political official, that's pretty damning of you to say of your political opponents, and that just shows how biased that you are. And if you do agree with that statement, that you should be going out in crowds to kick people out of public spaces just because they disagree with you politically, you're a disgusting human being. Alright, I'm not gonna beat around the bush with that. If you say that shit, you're a disgusting human being. I mean, it's just not, and it's not good for the country that people actually want that to happen. And my whole problem with Maxine Waters on this issue, she's always been this sort of radical. She has always been, like, she said that the Rodney King riots were justified, which is dumb. Alright, I don't think any kind of riot is justified, and the Rodney King riots were not justified in the slightest. They just weren't. And I'm not going to go into that, into the, context of that situation either, but I might make a video on it in, response to Maxine Waters later on. But yeah, the way she's been defending herself is she's just basically like, no, this is the dirty, dirty Republicans. They deserve this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And she's also saying that, the people are getting tired of it and that the people are going to rebel and we should encourage that, basically. And it's just like, oh my god, why? And it's just fucking annoying. It's fucking annoying. Thankfully, most people have kind of distanced themselves, even people like Nancy Pelosi. Like, she did it in a tweet. But they still say that, Trump is the major problem in all this, even though, if you're going to fight incivility with incivility, you're not doing yourself any favors. Now, this tweet said, in the crucial months ahead, we must strive to make America beautiful again. Using his quote against him, even though you're paraphrasing it. Trump's daily lack of civility has provoked responses that are predictable but unacceptable. As we go forward, we must conduct ourselves and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, she basically... Now, she's still kind of defending it in a way. That's not the response I would have wanted. But, I mean, it's better than nothing. Matt Christensen has a pretty good video on it where he talks about the response to the tweet and stuff like that. And he does it pretty good in detail, like he normally does, because he's pretty good with this stuff. Alright. But that's it. Yeah, that whole thing with Maxine Waters is just like, I don't understand why people like her. I don't understand why people think she's a good political martyr. And I still don't know how she became this big progressive figure, but I mean, it does need to stop. It needs to stop. We need to stop this bullshit about being incivil when in places that should be civil as fuck. Like, the entire political sphere should be extremely civil, but yet that's not what's happening here. And this has been going on for years. And to all the people who say, well, Trump's been acting like a douchebag his entire presidency and even before that, well, you forget that people called George Bush a Nazi for no reason in 2004 and were being huge pricks about it back then. To the point where some people were genuinely calling for revolution against him, even though, there was no evidence that he was a fucking Nazi. So, yeah. Yeah, don't come out with that bullshit. Now I'm going to go on to the Star Wars fandom, breaking down into halves upon halves and quarters upon quarters, because god damn it, I'm not getting tired of the fandom. I don't think the fandom did anything wrong in the majority response of The Last Jedi and Solo, because I think some people kind of went too far, but for the most part, most people were just pissed off at the directions Rian Johnson took with The Last Jedi, and that was it. They're not most people aren't really caring about the actors or actresses in the movie unless they said something stupid in promotion of it, like what Rian Johnson has been saying, which has basically been no one but Kathleen Kennedy. And that's a whole different situation I can make a video on. But fortunately I don't have to, because a bunch of people have already done that. But basically, a lot of people on both sides are trying to conflate each other into different areas of like thought, and then they're not actually trying to figure out why they think the way they do, which is extremely annoying. Such as yesterday, I had one of my close friends on Instagram sent out a screenshot of a tweet of a guy saying basically, if your kid watches The Last Jedi, then you should be beating them. And I was like, and I was like, why did you send this? And one of the things she said before that was like, this is how insane The Last Jedi haters have gotten. Okay! I didn't say this to her, but I was genuinely pissed off. I was like, you don't just conflate people like that. That is absolutely insane. I don't even think 1% of The Last Jedi haters are fucking advocating for beating the fuck out of their children because they happen to watch The Last Jedi. I mean, it doesn't matter if they don't like it themselves or anything like that, but you're just gonna beat them? That's fucking ridiculous. Alright, and it's annoying as hell to see that we have gone this far into the Star Wars Star Wars fandom has gotten this tribal in regards to, The Last Jedi and the sequel trilogy and shit like that. It's just annoying as hell to see. And it's not stopping. I mean, and honestly, I see the sequel defenders as the ones that are being the most illogical, because, they're making these types of straw man arguments. And if you've seen my channel before, you would know I'm not the biggest fan of straw man arguments. I think straw manning people on, their belief systems and not actually, looking into what they're talking about in order to make a stupid point that makes no sense in the context of the situation, it's annoying as hell. Like, why would you straw man a person's arguments like that? And that whole thing with the beating children joke, that might have been a joke. Alright? It was not a well-placed joke, not a great joke, but, I mean, the dude has the right to say it regardless. But it was just annoying as hell to see. It's just annoying as hell to see that it has spread this so much into the entire Star Wars community. And it's just sad to see. I'm genuinely disappointed that the defenders have gone that far to the left, and the haters have gone so far to the right, because there are a lot of bad things that the defenders do, but at least I'm trying to say that, hey, there's some dumb people on my side, and I don't like those people. But one thing I've never heard really any sequel defender say is, oh, there's some bad people on my side, and we need to remedy that. Granted, there have been people who have done it, but not many. Right? Especially my friend. Right? And the bad thing is that I've had people who I am close friends with, just like that person, who have basically conflated me with that. Alright, and either they knowingly do it, or they don't, or they knowingly don't, or they unknowingly do, but it's pretty fucking annoying to see. I don't like being lumped in with Nazis and white supremacists just because I happen to hate The Last Jedi. That doesn't make any sense. Why would I be a woman hater or a Nazi for not liking a Star Wars movie that I thought was completely terribly written and was a complete disservice to the characters? How is that being a Nazi exactly? How is that being a Nazi? Okay, I genuinely want to know. How is that being a Nazi? Alright, there's no reason. Alright, I don't like the way Rose was written. Doesn't mean I hate her. But that doesn't mean I hate Rose T. That doesn't mean I hate her on paper. I don't like Rey. I don't like how Rey was written and how she's basically overpowered with little to no training at all. Doesn't mean I don't like Daisy Ridley. Or Kelly Marie Tran. So just, come on. It's just, but it really is just in fucking sane. It is in fucking sane. I'm sick of it. The point I'm trying to make here, basically, is that we should be trying to be as civil as possible when we're facing with incivility. Okay, and yeah, today's society ain't exactly the easiest thing to do. It will never be an easy thing to do, especially if you're being insulted personally. But if you are going to be insulted personally, act professional against it. Alright? Unless they are going to continue to push on there, then you are justified in acting like a dick to them. But we should do everything in our power to be, to just basically be civil in every facet of life. But that's not how everything is anymore. Whether that be, political influence getting into our personal lives so much that we can't do anything else, or if that's just how things were going to naturally progress, it shouldn't be. It still shouldn't be. Alright? And whether you be a Maxine Waters, whether you're being a Maxine Waters or you're being one of those aggressive Star Wars fan types who either loves or hates The Last Jedi and you're being absolute dicks about it, take a look in the mirror, alright? And if you're going to spend your entire time in these arguments strawmanning others' opinions so that way you can make them seem like they're everything they're not, and you knowingly do that, you have no credibility. Like, you have no credibility, and to me, you shouldn't even be speaking. Like, you shouldn't, if you're gonna act like that, you shouldn't be able to speak on public issues like that. Alright, yeah, I've done that before. I have been absolute pricks like that before. But I'm trying to remedy that, at least. I'm trying to admit, hey, we've got some issues that we need to work out. But that's not what not a lot of people are doing. I mean, even if they're not being absolute dickbags, which is the majority of people, but they're not trying to really put themselves in a situation where they're going to be under fire, which I completely understand. But we should be coming together, as a people, to try to fix all of these situations that we're in. Otherwise, if we're not, we're basically fucked. We're basically fucked as a society. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed that little deconstruction, I guess. I just want this all to end, but it's not going to. And it's not going to because, human nature. It's just how it's going to keep on going until the end of time. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Don't die.